our social market economy and to fight for the sustainability of our European model. Of course, we know our European societies are not perfect societies. And if there is something we have learned in Europe the hard way, that arrogance is something we should not consider valid in today's world. But I think we can say with some pride that our societies are among the most decent societies in the world, among the most human and free societies, open societies, but where there is a sentiment of cohesion and respect also for the others and respect for our environment, feeling a responsibility towards our planet. And this idea are also one of the ideas that we have seen recognized when the Nobel Committee awarded its Nobel Peace Prize to the European Union for its contribution to promoting peace and reconciliation, democracy and human rights in Europe. Of course, our European Union is not a perfect union. It is work in progress, since the beginning, work in progress. However, it is so far the best embodiment of an old European state of mind, the aspiration for European unity, which is almost as old as Europe and has suffered many setbacks over the centuries. But as Immanuel Kant put it, out of the crooked timber of humanity, no straight thing was ever made. So Europe also has its difficulties, but I think that should not be a reason for the prevailing pessimism that we see today. Today, our European Union, in spite of all the challenges, tells a powerful story. It shows that nothing worth having is easy to get, and it is always important to hold on to our dreams and our ideals. Today, the raison d'être of our union is also the same 60 that was there 60 years ago. Peace, democracy, to be freed from fears, mistrust and divisions, to share security, stability and prosperity. But so, why do we speak about a new narrative? Ein neues Leitmotiv für Europa. Why a new? I believe that while keeping those values that were at the origin of European integration immediately after the war, there is a new narrative. Is Europe in the globalization? Is that Europe is an indispensable way for us as countries or as citizens being able to defend our interests and promote our values in this world. Globalization makes Europe more relevant than ever. Globalization means interdependence, and global interdependence is a reality. It's not, I don't think it serves any purpose to be against globalization, as we cannot be against the world or against Iran. The important thing is how can we react to it, and how possibly can we try to shape it with our values. This is what matters. We Europeans together, we have the necessary clout, the critical mass to play a leadership role with our partners in shaping globalization. Not trying to impose our solutions, but propose some of our ideas. I think we can have a leadership role to shape this world into a fairer, safer, rule-based and human rights abiding place in a more civilized world, to guarantee open economies and to fight protectionism, to seek cooperative solutions for the problems facing the global commons, as we are doing with climate change, to ensure that everywhere in the world the yearning for freedom and peace will always be stronger than walls and blind violence, and will overcome dictatorships and wars. Globalization means that we share the same world and we share the same responsibility to ensure the sustainability of this world. It is precisely why I think it is important, the issue of sustainability. Because when we think about it, immediately we have this image of the globe. This image that we are not alone in this planet and that we feel some kind of responsibility. This means that we have to come together, as we Europeans did over these last 6 decades. This means that to tear down walls and build bridges throughout the world is our European story for years to come. A French writer, Georges Bernanos, once said that l'avenir est quelque chose qui se surmonte. On ne subit pas l'avenir, on le fait. Translating freely, future is something we can overcome, We are not suffering future, we are doing it, making it. And I believe that our European culture offers an ideal platform for responding successfully to the challenge of the 21st century. I'm thinking of our commitment to creativity, to knowledge, to research, to innovation and science. I think the future of Europe will be knowledge, art and science. I think this is a very important contribution that our vision of the world can give also to some of our universal values. However, too often, we are faced with a confidence deficit. That deficit of confidence sometimes is worse than the deficit in our budgets. The lack of confidence in our own strengths and skills, lack of confidence in the future itself, probably tests the democracy of Europe. And I know it's very fashionable to be intellectually negative about Europe. This is why I think we need the voice of artists, creators, scientists like you to come out of the comfort zone and to win the ideological battle about Europe, recognizing honestly all the shortcomings, criticizing what has to be criticized, but at the same time having the courage to speak for Europe. But the paradox is that while we Europeans very often are extremely critical, we see around the world, not far from Europe, many thousands of people looking to us as a source of inspiration for their own future. For instance, as we have seen recently in Ukraine, young people, and not only young people, waving the European flags in freezing temperatures because they look to Europe as an inspiration for the way also they want to live in the future. 7 years ago, here in Berlin, we signed, on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the Treaty of Rome, a declaration. I had the honor to sign it together with Chancellor Merkel, and she was then President of the European Council, and also the then President of the European Parliament, Hans-Gert Pöttering. That Berlin Declaration said a very simple thing. We, the citizens of the European Union, have united for the better. Yes, we, the citizens. Because this is what the European Union is fundamentally about, the citizens, the people. And we, the citizens, we have united because we know that together we are stronger to embrace the challenges of an ever-changing world while holding back some demons. Populism, xenophobia, extreme nationalism, all these demons we have been fighting are now pushing back. And if you think about it, there is something common. Some of those movements are against foreigners, xenophobic. Some are against trade, they are against globalization. They want new walls, new protectionism. Some are extreme nationalism. But if you look, all of them have one leitmotif in common. They are very strongly against the European Union. They see the need for destroying the European Union precisely because they know that the European Union has a model of openness that is the opposite of extremism and extreme nationalism. So I think looking at these demons, we should remember Mark Twain, when he wrote about history, and I quote, "History does not repeat itself, but it does rhyme." The reality is that our success story has not been a natural development. And even today we will take it for granted at our danger. We should never forget that with democracy comes citizens' responsibility. People from the world of science and culture have precisely decided to assume their responsibilities to mobilize for Europe and make their voice heard, like you today. That's why I cannot thank all of you, but I like to thank especially the Cultural Committee. I like to thank artists like Michelangelo Pistoletto or Olafur Eliasson, not being able to quote all of them, to give such a part of your life and your time to this very challenging project. I believe, as Shelley once put it, that artists are the unacknowledged legislators of the world. Your contributions can be extremely important for a better world. Dear friends, your declaration unveiled today is your act of faith in Europe. It does not say that our Europe is perfect, but it says that Europe is our future. All of you gathered today in this room, you have chosen not to turn your back to Europe, but to engage, to be critical sometimes, but be constructive. You are looking to make a difference in Europe and contribute to driving positive change. You are here to show that we hold our future in our hands and that we should all participate. As I've been saying very often, and I'm happy to see that also in your declaration, Europe is a moral and political responsibility which must be carried not just by institutions and politicians, but by each and every European. I've been saying that all over Europe the last 10 years. That Europe is not just Brussels, or Luxembourg, or Strasbourg. That Europe is a shared responsibility. Of course, we need the responsibility of politicians to stand together and defend their decisions and not to put always the blame on Brussels, on the decisions that have been taken collectively and that afterwards have to be implemented. But beyond the citizens, we need the active engagement of our citizens. That's why I want to thank you all for your contributions, because I think you are expressing that idea, that yes, we need solidarity in Europe, but at the same time, each of us, as Michelangelo Pistoletta was saying, also needs to show responsibility towards Europe, not only seeing what Europe is giving us, but also what you can give Europe. I congratulate all of you, and I thank you very much for your commitment to this great project. Thank you.